Alright, hello guys. Yeah, you're probably wondering what's going on with the quality, you might ask. Well, I decided that it's time for me to upgrade my camera from an iPhone camera to an actual professional camera. I am on a Nikon now. It's a basic camera, so I just figured, you know, why not make a reappearance of upgrading the quality. Oh, excuse me, of upgrading the quality. So here I am. Here I have in front of me is a 2001, I believe, 2001 GE box fan model 106620. I haven't done a video on this fan like in about over I think 2 or 3 years. But the last time I done a video on this fan, it was a comparison between the 3780. It looked just like this one, but this one this one has the GE brand and the older style braces, motor mounts in the back, while as the other one had the typical smaller, it had the typical standard motor mounts for it. So and the blade sets were different. But story behind this fan, I've gotten this fan about, I say, almost 5 years now from Facebook Marketplace. It was listed in PA, but when I came across this fan, I said to myself, how am I going to get this fan? Because it was like the fan was about 100 miles away from me. So I decided to go ahead and reach out to the seller and see if they could provide shipping, and they were able to. It didn't cost me as much. I think it cost like $19 to ship, which isn't bad at all because the fan was like $10. Even though those prices are outrageous, but like I said, I've had hella history behind these fans, and me just not getting it wouldn't sit right with me. Because after I purchased this fan and have it shipped to my house, I think it was like about I'll say like 2 or 3 years, like 2 or 3 years after I got this fan, like right down the line, I have not seen any of them. And believe it or not, unfortunately, I think this was like a year ago or two. But my neighbor, well, not my neighbor, my aunt's neighbor had this exact model. Because I was leaving from her house, I had to catch my Uber. This fan was this was the same exact fan that my neighbor had, but it was sitting on the steps. But it had a different blade set onto it. Like, if you look closely, just focusing. Come on now. You will see that it has like the Diamond Star blade set. And what I mean by the Diamond Star blade set is because if you look closer, that the blade set shifts, like it goes in a slope, like it goes straight it curves like this, and it goes up and then it goes straight up, which is weird. So I feel like with this blade set that I think they were using, like, I think this was like a test blade, because they've used this blade for like a couple of years. I think they started in 2000. But yeah, so I seen the regular flower petal blade, the thicker ones, the thicker blade the thicker blades with the we know the early style flower petal blade. But unfortunately, I was not able to get it because one, my lift was outside, and two, I didn't know where I didn't know where my aunt's neighbor was, so I had to pass down onto it, unfortunately. But if I wasn't so in the rush, I would have had two of them. But it's all right. It's still some out there, but I got one, and I'm happy to have one. But this fan is not necessarily like a childhood fan to me, but it's still like it's still a part of me because I've seen like the Ultra Force, the Weather Shields, and the premiums a lot, but I've never seen these like as much in my childhood. So I just figured why not grab it, and here it is. But overall, it's a pretty strong fan for what it is. Even though it may look like, you know, it's a little older, like the late 90s, or it looks like the late 90s model. Believe it or not, if I turn around to the back, you would see that it has the smaller polarized, not polarized, the smaller PSC motor. And this PSC motor is quite powerful for what it is. Yeah, it's quite powerful for what it is. And honestly, I cannot go wrong with this motor. Whoops, come on. There we go. Still practicing. But yeah, I cannot go wrong with this motor because I feel like these motors are powerful than the Marco motors. Like just the way their RPM, it's like the RPMs on this fan is like much faster. Like this fan goes way faster than the ones with the Marco motor. But this fan might go. This fan might be a little dirty, so it may go a little slower. But once I clean it up and get it oiled, it takes off like an airplane. But overall, cosmetically, I don't know if you guys can see, but cosmetically, this fan has been through a lot of sun. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's quite yellowed, unfortunately. When I first got this fan, it wasn't really like this. Like, I don't know if you guys can see like scuff marks everywhere, but when I got this fan, these scuff marks were already on here. But over time, I think it was because it was my fault. The knob, not the knob, the handle had turned yellow in the back, which means that if this was like painted white, because the fan is all gray, if it was painted white, the yellow would be way worse. But that's my fault for using it into the inside of the window. But not a lot of people know, like, it's a this fan has a quirk to it, and I'm going to show you guys. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it has like directions on the bottom of here. If I could get this focus, yeah, it says, well, I can't see it that much, but it says automatically operated device. I don't remember because, like I said, it says to reduce risk of injury. It says disconnect before servicing. Technically, that's what it's saying. And for right here, it says warning: to reduce shock of electric shock or injury. Injury to persons. Do not use in a window. And that's ironic coming from Lasco, because whenever you hear them like displaying that, you know, to not use their box fans in the window, the whole time that's what they're known for. That's one of the reasons why they're known to use their box fans in the window. But overall, this fan cosmetically could be better, but the air movement is pretty outrageous for what it is. And I haven't shown you guys, but I kind of had a freak accident with this fan about 4 years ago. I'm gonna show you guys. Take a soon. But right here, well, come on. Right there is a chip in the blade. And I think it was because I had dropped something. I don't think it was a screwdriver or anything. But this fan has a couple chips in the blade, unfortunately. I think this blade is chipped too, but luckily the piece of the blade did not come off, so I was grateful for that. But without further ado, I'm going to stop talking because I know I could do that a lot. But there we go. So without further ado, I'm going to start this fan up on high. Here we go. And another thing with this fan too, the fan slows down a little bit, but then it revs up. And I don't want to, say that it's a bad capacitor or anything, which God forbid, I hope it's not. But this fan still stays up to speed. It's pretty powerful too. I know you guys can hear it slow it down a little bit, it's trying to, but it slows up. I mean, it slows down and it, picks back up, which is weird. Medium. This is how medium should sound, in my opinion. Some mediums would be slow, some mediums would, some mediums would sound like they would be on low. Some mediums will sound like they would be on like high, but this is a perfect medium right here. It's still kicking out some air too, even though it's a little dirty. Here's low. Pretty quiet on low. Back to high. Display the thermostat. And it's a little blurry, but you guys can see that it works. The thermostat works. And what it says, thermostat control. Now some of these Lasco fans were weird back in the day. Some had some thermostat models had like Ultra Force, and some had the thermostat control, which I don't know why they could have just kept the Ultra Force name up on top of the logo, but no biggie. But as you can see, thermostat and the speed selector. And yep, everything works on this fan. So pretty glad to have this fan, even though it has a lot of blemishes on it. But I'm going to make sure that this fan stays around And I'm going to try to do is reduce the amount of times that I use these fans, because you may never know when you'll see another one. And if one of them, like, you know, goes out when you, God forbid that doesn't happen, but you know, stuff happens. But I thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video I have in store for you guys. Thank you.